Now, Tammy, one of the things that I think we've seen over the last few years, particularly, especially with this opioid addiction as it sort of crosses the, specifically the middle of the country, but the entire country, is that I think some of the stigma that goes along with opioid addiction has been erased, that people are beginning to understand the nature of that addiction. Would you agree that it doesn't have the same stigma with juries that it used to?
Absolutely, I agree, especially as it pertains to opioid addictions. We've seen that the federal government has pushed out different legislation to address the opioid addiction, especially as it impacts suburban America and, PTA moms across the country. So as it pertains to George Floyd and Ms. Ross testifying on the stand about the various issues that they faced with the back pain, the neck pain, her pain that she had, it really just breaks down the fact that these are not just people that are on drugs and drug addicts that are taking drugs for no reason. It definitely, it humanizes it, and it actually, it brings more attention to the fact that not just opioids, but other types of drugs in general in the criminal justice system need to be paid attention to, and not necessarily jump to conclusions about the nature of an individual, because as we see here with Mr. Floyd, it has resulted in his death.
Now, one of the issues that's been coming up with some of my social media friends and that I love to interact with is that with all this emotional testimony we had over the last couple of days, and it's been very, very emotional, they're saying that this call for perhaps Derek Chauvin may need to take the stand because even as you said, it really boils down to why he left his knee on his neck for that 9/29, right? That's really what they want to hear. Do you think it's getting to the point now where, and again, this is assessed all along during the trial, but do you think he has to take the stand in this case?
That's going to be a call for the defense. I mean, I think any good defense attorney knows defense 101, you do not put the defendant on the stand. That's extremely rare to happen. It doesn't matter, how emotional the prosecution's witnesses are. The prosecution's witnesses, they're being honest. Their emotions are raw and real. So for them to put Mr. Chauvin on the stand following that, it will only make anything that he says or does seem completely inauthentic, coupled with the fact that, he reported back to his boss everything but the fact that his knee was in Mr. Floyd's neck for almost 10 minutes. So I don't think it would be a good move for the defense. If they do that, I'd be very curious to see as to how they attempt to maneuver that, because that is something, as you know, we don't really see that in the criminal justice system where the defendant takes the stand.
Yeah, that would be extremely risky for any number of reasons. All right, Tammy, stand by. We do. Right, absolutely. All right, Tammy, stand by. We do have to take a break right now, but when we come back, we heard the name of George Floyd's friend a lot in court today, and he could be called upon to testify. Up next, our Court TV close-up is on Maurice Hall.